Welcome, everybody. My apologies for being late. For some reason, technology has been playing games with me lately. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we are doing a special live stream across 3 different platforms. Hello, for all of you that are new to me. I am Tammy Lee, multidimensional facilitator, highly intuitive, of energy, healing, and transformational experiences. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome in. You know, last week this happened also. For some reason, I just got to check into things and see why. For some reason, my computer wants to reboot right before I get on here, going live with you. So those of you that are here and you're new, you're going to see something right above the video that asks you to click on that StreamYard link. Gives StreamYard permission to give me your name as I'm over in the StreamYard studio. So that way, when you make comments, to keep an open discussion going, as we so much like to do here with you every Wednesday at noon, because you never know what you may offer, what you may ask, what you may say, what you may share is exactly what was called forth for this conversation, for up-leveling, for new areas to come forth. You never know. So welcome, welcome again. Come on into this sacred environment where multidimensional benevolent beings join us every week here. This is not just about Tammy sharing with you. This is also about these benevolent beings coming forth and my entourage joining you. Your entourage is an entourage. The way I explain that, that's different than spirit guides. My understanding and what I've been taught over the years and what feels truth to me is spirit guides are those highly evolved beings that were once here on earth, that walked the earth, like Master Jesus, like Mary Magdalene. Those are, to me, those are spirit guides. Entourage is a bigger, multi-dimensional, they're not all human. I have Sasquatch in my entourage. I have other beings in my entourage that are not of this world. And I bring this forth to you to open up our imagination of all these other beings that really, truly want to be with us. Yes, yes, yes. And it's okay. And it could be different. And it could be even more expansive than what you ever thought possible. So welcome in to Make Shift Happen, the spiritual variety show, which we come to you live every Wednesday at noon, or we try to be here at noon, but we also learn to go with the flow, and take that breath of when you are frustrated that you have this certain timeline that you really want to be on, and a glitch happens. I have learned to be patient and to allow the flow of what truly wants to come through, getting out of the way and allowing what really wants to come through. So today I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you? What does abundance mean to you? How do you look at abundance? What do you think when somebody says abundance? As I work with my clients and as we do group work here and there, one of the things I've really noticed, and please feel free, I want to know, what does abundance mean to you? Type it in the text chat below the video. Type it in there. Let's start this conversation, because the more you involve yourself in this conversation, the more the energy of abundance can hear you, recognize you. And yes, this too is an energy. Yes, it shows up in physical form, but how do we look for abundance? How do we look for it? How do we see it? Is it like in a box? Is it only dollar signs that when abundance, somebody says abundance, what's the first thing that pops into your head? What is the first thing that pops into your head? So as you're thinking of that question, as you're thinking of that, I want you to go ahead and say hello in the text chat below the video, and let's get this conversation flowing. What pops into your mind, first thought, when somebody says abundance? When the word comes up? Usually, and it has happened for me, it's always the dollar. It's always about the dollar. That's how it's been in the past. Did you know that when you start to look for abundance, it has this magical, uncanny way of multiplying in your life? Yes, Carol says money is the first thing, but I think of joy, family, life also. Thank you, Carol, for sharing that. Because here's something that I have learned is when we need to broaden our perspective. The more we broaden our perspective. So today I want us to start doing a little looking into our lives and look and see where abundance truly flows. Because so many people, so what can cut off abundance? So many people will look in their checkbook, look in their pocketbook, look in their billfold, and if they don't see multiple dollars, they feel like they're not abundant. Has that happened to you? It certainly has happened to me in the past. I have worked around poverty mentality my entire lifetime. I'm 58. I come from two family streams of poverty mentality on both sides, to the point of seeing and growing up with parents that live beyond their means. That, I hear people talk about this younger generation of having instant gratification, but it's not just them. It's like, where did that come from? Where did that instant gratification come from? I had that too. I still need to watch that also. And I'm 58 years old, because nobody has ever drilled down and talked about this to this point that I know of. I'm sure there's people out there, but I don't know who off the top of my head. Yes, I have signed up for a abundance course, for money courses, for attracting money. And that comes in different ways. And one of the things that I truly Truly believe. Because now it's not about what's out there. It's about what's in here. Because I used to, now I would always search out there. Oh, there's got to be something. There's got to be something. I need to learn something. And I would just go over and over, and instead of coming in here, inside, in my heart space, in connecting with my soul, connecting with spirit, my essence, and really, truly feeling, seeing, knowing abundance. Abundance wants to be our friend. Abundance wants to play with us, wants to hang with us, girls. Abundance wants to hang. So how do we see abundance? Can we allow ourselves to expand our imagination and start seeing abundance? Maybe even smelling abundance, like when lilacs bloom. They don't last long, right? But when they bloom in that fragrant air, this is abundant. The air is abundant with fragrance. That's an example of when lilacs bloom. What are some of the things, so I want you to start to open your mind, what are some of the things that you can sense, see, know, even think of in the past where abundance has come to visit you, and maybe you didn't notice it in the moment, and maybe we didn't say thank you. Because the more we recognize abundance, the more we're in that grateful energy, like in the energy. Because remember, where intention goes, energy flows. So intention. What do you want to intend? Yes, abundance is an energy. Abundance is an energy, an energy, an energy. Now, for you that are joining, just want to remind you, if you want me to see your name, because this is Facebook user, I don't know who is sharing this, abundance as an energy. It's Facebook user. Just click that StreamYard link above, and it will give StreamYard permission to share your name with me as I'm inside of the StreamYard studio. Okay? So, yes, abundance as an energy. So, if we think about it like that, and we allow our energy to expand and level up. So, I was just sharing about when lilacs bloom. I grew up with a lilac bush in our backyard, and I can still remember that. Oh, the air is abundantly fragrant with that smell of lilac. And it raises up energy. And in that rising up, to be in our energy of that, okay, it's rising up. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that abundance of that fragrance. What else can we see? So abundance will know. So, I mean, just as we're sharing this is we're talking about this, can you already feel the excitement of, like, just say, hello, abundance. Thank you for being here. Hello, abundance. Like, you can talk to it just like you can talk to me. You can talk to these energies. I see you. Wow, I can feel you. Abundance as an energy wants to be with us, wants to walk with us, wants to play with us. How many of you can start to feel that? I know some of you are on here that you can feel and sense energy. So just take that deep breath for a moment. and say, hello, hello, abundance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And pay attention to your body and where you feel that energy abundance coming to visit with you, like a good old longtime friend that has missed you, that has truly missed you, that wants you to see it in a bigger way than just dollar signs. Abundance wants you to see it, to know it, to be with it in a more expanded way than just dollar signs. And when you see a bigger picture, when you start to feel that, when you start to welcome in and think about abundance, it shows up. It shows up and it starts to know you. And it starts to like, wow, she's loving the energy that I'm sharing right now. Like I can feel abundance talking. I get so, so, so delighted that we are having this conversation today because, ooh, Georgette feels it in her womb space. I feel it like like I feel it like wanting to pop through my skin, like in my whole heart space. Thank you, Georgette, for sharing that. Where do you feel abundance right now? Like I can even feel it like moving down my spine. Like yummy. Like I am here. I want to be with you. Abundance of laughter. That's one of the ways I can see and feel and know abundance. So much so because I can laugh like at nothing, with nothing. Like I feel giggles right now wanting to come out of me. You can probably even hear it in my voice. Like I can feel the giggles. I have an abundance of giggles. I have an abundant smile. Thank you, thank you, thank you, abundance, for being here. Right now, right now. I encourage you to just and start sharing with me. Where do you feel or sense or know abundance? This way, abundance will get to start knowing you. I know artists, they are abundant in their creations. They're abundant in their flow. Abundance wants to play. Wants to play. Wants to play. Spring is coming. There will be abundance of flowers. I know like a couple of you that you love to plant flowers. Love, love, love. And there's just abundance, a beauty from what you have created by the flowers you plant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you. I smell you, abundance. Abundance wants to show up in such a vast variety of ways for you. So when we have our intention on abundance, like I intend today to see abundance everywhere I walk, having that intention and allowing yourself to open up and see it in a variety of ways. to know it in a variety of ways, and to be grateful and say thank you for those variety of ways that abundance shows up. It will start showing up in your pocketbook too, in your checking accounts. As long as we, in my opinion, stay open and an allowance and in allowance for it to show up in magical ways, to where we get out of our mind and allow expansionness. Because how many times, I've been there too, that we think it has to show up, well, it needs to show up this way, and this way, and this way. And we actually, when we do that, we put a stranglehold on abundance. I even still work on that. When it shows up in a way, it's like, okay, so we had, there was new farm programs that came out. So we had an abundance because of a local farmer contacting us, my husband, asking him to cut all these grasses, like 400 acres of grasses, because the farm program expired. And now, as part of that, so my husband says yes, and he goes, and it took him months, and it took a lot of investment to cut and swap and bale and load these bales and all. So it took thousands of dollars to make all this happen. So when you keep faith, when you're saying thank you for all these bales, this is an example I'm using, and then we have no idea how we're going to get them home. Like there's like 1,200 of them. Like, wow, that's very abundant, right? We had no idea how much all these grasses were going to make. And then we start having phone calls. And farmers that need stuff, wanting, like, from outside of this. So farmers, hey, I'll cut this up here, over here. Can I? And then I'll pay you I'll pay you so much. And like, so abundance comes in other ways that we least expect. Like, we had no idea about this farm program, and that somebody was going to need our help to make things happen. No clue. But when we're open to it, and when we're in thanksgiving of it, thank you, abundance. Abundance, can you help us now to sell some of these? Abundance, can you bring us the right and perfect people? That everything is just full of grace and ease. Yes, thank you. Not always full of grace and ease. It's not always is. However, opportunities will show up. When it's not full of grace and ease, you want to check with yourself. Is there something about me that's not allowing the grace of ease of abundance to work with me? So how many of you are following me so far with this? Can you sense, see, know, feel? I can feel the emotion. I can feel tears coming up behind my eyes of a gratitude and a new knowing now. Because I ask like a new knowing for me too of how to work more diligently, but also openly and more in flow and ease with abundance. Georgette adds, this is so interesting. I woke up from a dream where the shops were bare and stock was limited. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy Lee Shoemaker. Thank you, Georgette. Wow. Abundance. How can we look for abundance? How can we, by intention? So, Georgette, and I know you're in a different country. Not sure how early it is over there. So even if we've already started our day, like it's noon, it's almost 1 o'clock here, Central Time in Kansas. I didn't wake up this morning with the intention of seeing abundance. But right now, just sharing this with you, you can shift out, switch up, shift, make shift happen right now with having the intention to see, feel, know, communicate, create a relationship with abundance. So it's 5 a.m. over in, is it Australia? Oh, I don't know for sure, Georgette. Off the top of my head, I just like went blank. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, everyone that's joining with us today. Where intention goes, energy flows. We can be abundance to others. Oh, I was right. Australia. Oh. Thank you, Georgette. We can be abundance, not just for ourselves, but also for others. Others that are so closed down, they can't see it. They don't like abundant. What do you mean abundant? When I share with other people, like, oh, wow, look how abundant you are. And the first thing is dollars. Understandably, first thing is dollars. And they feel like, no, they're not abundant. I don't have an overflow of money. I live paycheck to paycheck and still can't make it. That's what some people, I know those people. I've been there. I've lived that. And I'm still working through that, even at the age of 58, even after all these decades of doing energy work. I'll find another level. I'll still work with my ancestors, doing ancestry work of where those poverty consciousness still is affecting my ancestry. Because that's where both of my parents came from. My dad had to quit school in the 9th grade because he was the oldest boy to help get a job, make some money, bring some money in. My grandmother never learned how to drive. So she was solely dependent on someone else to drive her. She lived in a small town. Eventually, when they moved to Kansas, this was before I was born, Grandma made money by baking pies for a local restaurant. It trickled in for her. The dollars trickled in. However, she was abundant with family that showed up for her. in joyful ways. We never, ever thought she was a burden. She ended up developing throat cancer, but because she didn't have because her mind was that I don't have enough funds in her pocketbook, she waited to go to the doctor until she had Medicare or Medicaid, whatever. Had she gone earlier, she would have, the doctor even said, this is one of the easiest things to take care of. But she allowed it to grow and grow and grow to where it was such a mass that within, I think it was 2 years, she passed away from it. I know people right today that have lived years after getting their throat cancer taken care of and have survived and are survivors. So that mentality of how we can keep ourselves stuck, I want you to think about that. How do we keep ourselves stuck and not allow abundance to visit us in bigger ways and more expansive ways? Yeah, it can come from our ancestors. Even if your parents grew up with struggle. Okay, let me rephrase that. Even if your parents grew up with, okay, it's kind of flowing for them, but even though it's flowing, they still seem like they're in a struggle, or their words are saying something different. I don't have any money. I don't have, like, we have to pay attention to our words too. That can cut off abundance. You can have two people in a relationship. One is growing and feeling abundant and doing their work, and the other one is, oh, I'm broke. Oh, I'm poor. Oh, I don't have enough money for that. And then you can have this low energy in a relationship actually siphoning off the other person's energy. And then this person has to work harder and harder and harder to make sure that the mentality of this other person doesn't bring him down. That's where sometimes breakups happen, people. So check your energy. Check your energy. Check your thoughts. Check your words. How are you portraying yourself? How are you being in the world? Yes, what did your parents say when you were growing up? Those thoughts can still be playing havoc in your mind. Just as Georgette just shared, money doesn't grow on trees was a saying she grew up with. I grew up with that too. So what kind of sayings did you grow up with? Let's share those right here, right now. Money doesn't grow on trees. Let's see. What do you think I am, a bank? I heard that from my dad. The only time I ever remember getting a new outfit is we would get 2 outfits right before school started. I don't remember it. I guess we would probably get a new swimsuit when summer came. Oh yeah, we might have gotten an outfit at Easter time. I do remember getting a new dress one time. And I remember, yeah, thank you for that memory. That's a really good memory. I remember Easter dresses, 3 of them, hanging up on a windowsill. They were from the Easter Bunny. Ah, I remember that now. Wow, I haven't thought about that. Ah, what else? What else? How else? What did we see growing up with? Did we see our parents struggle? Carol just, yes, parents fighting about money has stuck with her. So what else did we see? Because that can still play a part in our own deflection. Like we could literally be deflecting abundance coming to us because of these old mindsets, these old beliefs that do not support us. That do not support us. Now, even though my grandmother did not have a lot of money, I never heard her complain about it. She felt abundant. She acted abundant. Even though she didn't have a whole closet full of clothes, golly gee, she loved her kids. She loved, loved, loved her family. I could feel to her love, she was abundant with love, pure, true love, pure, true love. I think she was one of the richest. Wow, that's bringing me emotion. So I thank you. I thank each and every one of you having this conversation with us, with me today. I can feel my grandmother here right now with us. And other beings showing up. So I know I never, ever, ever, even when my grandmother was suffering with pain, with sickness, she was always full of love. She was so abundant. I still feel that I carry her love forward. But I know it's not just hers. It's this universal love that I came into this world with. Cosmic love, beyond this cosmic arena. Yes. And just having this conversation today, I was just asking like 2 hours ago, what is the conversation that wants to be had today? And I read this quote. So when we ask, when we have that intention of what wants to show up in our life, and the more specific we can get, I was led to something to read. When you look for abundance, when you have that intention, because where intention goes, energy flows, and attention opens up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I can feel that dance happening, right? So remember, as you join us on this broadcast, there's a little switching gears on you. There's a little link right above the video that says StreamYard. You want to click on that because we just had somebody else just said hello. Good morning, Tammy. This is one of my favorite subjects. Preach. Oh, baby, preach it, girl. But it says Facebook user. So you want to click on that link. So it gives StreamYard, where I'm streaming from in this studio, gives them permission for them to share your name with me. So we can even connect deeper with names. So abundance. Abundance. Just so wants to play with us. What are some of the ways? Okay, Christy, I popped over right quick. I know it's you. Thank you, darling, for joining us. What are some of the ways? I know you've had some remarkable happenings with abundance, Christy. Would you share? Would you share with us? I'd love for you to share. What are some of the things that you've done that abundance has blossomed in your life for even more in the last few years? If you would share with us, that'd be awesome. Okay, Christy, actually, if you go right above the video, it says StreamYard.com Facebook. That's where you click, darling. That's the link you click on. Just FYI for you. You only have to do it once, and then it's taken care of every time after that. So as Christy is typing, because I know she's going to share with us, what are some of the ways that abundance has been showing up for you that maybe until this moment, until this conversation today, wow, I see it now. I missed that before. And are we taking care of those things that are abundant in our life? All of a sudden, I just thought of vehicles. Okay. We have a lot of different vehicles. I'm not saying they're new, girls. We have a car that's got almost 300,000 miles on it. But whatever. But we did have different farm vehicles. Okay. We have a GMC pickup, but it's got a flat tire on it. So this is where that just popped in my head. Are we taking care of those things that are abundant in our lives? So when I get off of this video, I'm going to highly encourage my husband. Okay, we need to get that tire fixed this week. We are abundant. And I really desire to take care of those things we're abundant. We are in abundance of. So I'm going to highly encourage my husband, get the tire fixed. Probably needs to come off and go into the station, gas station. Yes. So what things? So just look around. And this is not about beating ourselves up, right or wrong, good or bad. Like what things are we really abundant in that maybe we're not taking care of? I have an abundance of paperwork that I need to take care of. So I've been working on that. Yes, I can probably up my game there. So do you understand what I'm saying? We can be overabundant in some things that actually can close us down. I have an overabundance of papers that need to be gone through, filed, whether it's purge file, whether it's filed for the year, whether it's however it looks. Where are we abundant at? Where are we overly abundant that maybe we need to clean some of that up? How many closets of clothing do you have? How many shoes do you have? How many, that maybe if we clean up some of this overabundance, that other kind of streams of abundance can come and visit us. How many times, like overly abundant? Honestly, I haven't just sat and thought about this. Where am I overabundant in? Is that an area that I can, let me pay attention to that. Is there some cleanup that needs to happen in an overabundance? Did I box it out? Did I box it up and just not take it somewhere yet? Okay, so Carol says, can I say my husband? Oh, Carol, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Okay, so let's go to Carol's. Can I say my husband? He does so much for us, and I don't spend enough time with him. Oh, closet of clothes, house decor. Am I overly abundant? What if I cleaned up? Is that the right phrase to use? Like I pay attention to that overabundance and maybe some of that. I can be abundant. I can be abundance for somebody. Take my overabundance that I'm not utilizing and share that. Abundance wants to play with us. So maybe abundance will start to ask you to help it to be more for someone else so it can be more for you. You get that? So with Carol, what she says, like, so her husband is so abundant with his time and attention and energy. Carol, that's really beautiful. I just like, wow, wow. And especially if that's his love language, wanting to spend time with you. So there you go. Where am I overly abundant with my time in certain areas of life that I can pull back so I can be more abundant with my husband in that relationship? So thank you, ladies. Can you see how all these different ideas? I really want us to keep this conversation going. Let's see what Christy just piped in to share with us. Oh, thank you, Christy. So Christy, dropping her abundance blocks. Dropping my abundance blocks has opened up so much for me. I was a stay-at-home mom, desperate. I can feel that desperation. How many of us walk in desperation to bring in just a little income to supplement? I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years. To supplement her husband's income, to get us to a place of financial stability. 4 years later, I have secured, so this is Christy talking. Christy has secured three sources of income that surpasses his income. Now his income supplements mine. Good job, girl. And Kirsty is still enjoying life in all this process. And I'm not stopping there. The sky is my limit. I'm going to keep going until I have more money than I know what to do with. I am open to being so rich. And if I could add, Christy, so abundant. And if that makes you think I'm selfish, that you only need so much, rich people are evil, guess what? The world needs more good people with lots of money. Yes. And I'm going to expand that if it's okay with you, Christy. The world needs more good people with lots of high energy abundance. Abundance. So that way abundance can show up how it desires. Whether it be money, whether it be love, whether it be time, whether it be attention, whether it be flowers, green grass, air, clean air, joy, abundance of joy. Wow. I just like, sparkles went through my spine on that. Abundance. Because each and every one of us have so many ways that we can show up abundantly. And how we can actually be the abundance for others. So let's go ahead and list what are some of the abundance blocks that we may be carrying, that we may not know we even have. One of them, I would say, would be poverty consciousness that some of us may carry, that some of us grew up in. Some of it could be lack of self-esteem, thinking you're not good enough, thinking, well, what's wrong with me? That money's not showing up, that abundance is not showing up, because abundance, and it's just not of this lifetime. One of the questions we can ask, where in my ancestry are there abundance blocks? Wow. Okay, so this is one of the things I'm going to do with a forgiveness practice with and work on my ancestry. Because even our ancestors, that energy from way back, wants to be cleaned up. So abundance can flow through. With more ease and grace. Because there could still be, okay, so there can be shackles still on some of our ancestors. That once we start to heal that, to go through that, to loosen that up, to transmute that, thank you, that it even allows more abundant energy to flow through us, even from our ancestors, to where we don't have to work so hard to allow abundance in all forms to show up. Because how many of us have also heard and grown up with, you got to work hard. You got to work so hard in order to be abundant, in order to be rich. I think there's other ways that can still come to us. And as we clean up these inner blocks, Carol even shared, yes, poverty, not enough. What did I do wrong? I mean, I just caught myself the other night thinking about this. I was in the real estate business, real estate investing. And had I done a few things different, yeah, I would probably still have those properties. But that business with those three partners collapsed with the real estate collapse, along with the real estate collapse back in 2008-ish. So 2008 is 2021. So that's the 8, 10, 12, 13 years. Okay. So Georgette says a sense of not having to hunt it down, but to call it in gently is a lesson she is now learning here. Abundance wants to play with us, ladies. Abundance wants to play, wants to create with us, wants to hang out with us, wants to show us new ways of being, doing, and thinking. And I'm not saying go for the gusto. If that's your personality, that's great. If you want to work hard, that's great. That's you. But I also know there's other ways we can go around it, go with it, because also we're learning how to be in the flow with it. And getting out of our mindset of how we think it needs to show up. What if you're like, oh, I need $20,000. Oh, if with $20,000 I can pay this off and this off and this off. Instead of a $20,000, you like, oh my gosh, somebody just gave me a vehicle. It might not be the 20,000 cash in hand in the bank account, but look what just happened. You got a brand new vehicle, or you got a new vehicle that's worth 20,000 or more. That can happen too. You see how I know somebody that he was wanting, he was really wanting a different vehicle, and he just didn't know how to, so he started intending it, putting his attention there, and let it open of how it's going to show up. And he ends up finding a briefcase. Never opened it, but had a person's name on it with a contact. If you ever find this, please contact this number. I still don't know what was in that briefcase, but it must have been extremely important. And it was of somebody of great abundance. And he paid this guy tens of thousands of dollars of a finder's fee. That now he was able to go get his vehicle, a certain kind of vehicle he's been wanting. He was intending. Remember, where intention goes, energy flows. So start to think about, what are my abundance blocks? Write those down. Write those down. Some of you already know how to do energy work. Clear those. Heal those. Are those beliefs? Are they beliefs of our ancestors that have come forth to visit us? Are they my beliefs from other lifetimes I brought forth? See all these different ways of, wow. How do we stop abundance from coming? So I shared this a few weeks ago. So Tim and I just upgraded. My husband and I upgraded to a different vehicle. That vehicle was not on my list of what I was looking for. Seriously. So my mind wasn't even open to the possibility. My mind was not even open to go to the car lot where we were at, where we ended up going. It took my dad to tell me over and over, go here, Tammy, go here. Oh my gosh, they treated me so good. They'll give you a good deal, Tammy. And I just like, don't want to go there. I was blocking abundance. I had a certain figure in mind of like, wow, yeah, we're probably going to have to pay around this much for low mileage, 3-seater, because we have 13 grandkids. I want to have that extra space in case I ever need to pick them up, because now they're starting to get older to where we're having games out of town. And this is just the beginning of the next 20 years. Okay. So I go to this car lot. The guy is super nice. And I tell him what I want. They don't have it. We test drive something else. Like, it's okay. That's not what I want. A few weeks later, they call me. And in the meantime, Tim and I are going to look at different car lots. Energy of the other car lots. Like, oh no, you can't even scrape off your snow so I can walk in your showroom to see your vehicles because it was so cold out. If you can't scrape the snow off the sidewalk for your customer, I'm not buying something here. Like energy, right? Pay attention to your energy. What's it telling you? So we go back to this other car lot. Oh, we just got this such and such vehicle in. I'm like, oh, really? I just blocking. Caught myself. I didn't know it in the moment. So I opened myself up. Like, okay, we'll go test drive it. Oh my gosh. It was comfortable, excellent condition, better price range than what I originally thought. Like thousands of dollars less. I'm like, wow. Abundance was knocking on my door. Seriously. Prettier color than what I like, just everything better than I could even imagine. As soon as I'm like, oh my gosh, and I started seeing it, I was blocking here and I was blocking abundance here and blocking abundance here and here and here and here. And as soon as I realized, so self, spirit, show me, where am I blocking abundance? Show me, where am I self? You want to ask yourself, you want to ask your spirit, ask your soul, where am I blocking abundance? Show me. I want to know. I want to see. I can already feel in my, see, this is more work that I need to do. Personally, I can feel that rising up, ladies. I don't think it's always one and done. Because the more we do, the more layers and layers and layers come up. Like abundance can even like, oh, wow, she even wants more of me to come visit. Okay, let's go to that next layer. Uh-huh. And sometimes it's layers. 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 Show me where I am blocking abundance. And sometimes it can be inactivity, not taking action on what the universe is showing you, what your spirit is showing you. I'll share this in closing. One of the things, now, Georgette, you've had this experience with one of my recordings. Profound, profound work. I never thought 2 years ago, if you would have told me, I don't know, Christy, you remember me doing toning when we were in a cave in Banff? When we went to go visit that one cave that we could walk back into because they built a building around it. I started toning in there. Like, okay, I didn't even know it was called toning. The sounds wanted to come out of me. And I asked the facilitator, is it okay? Like, I could not keep them in, but I wanted to make sure it was okay. So I didn't take anybody out of their stuff. Because a lot of people were meditating. As soon as I had permission, I just allowed all that sound to come out. I have an abundance of connective sound, of deeply healing, connective sound that desires to come out of me. That started a path for me. Somebody would have told me this 5 years ago that I would have created an audio, video, co-created something that now people want to buy, whether it's $10, $50, $80, The fact is, of me taking that step of actually, she saw it. She's like, Tammy, I can create this and this. And I'm like, huh? I didn't know that was a possibility. So abundance, like there was more, there was abundance and more, brought this person into my life for her to hear me with this tone, with a certain tone I did. She's like, oh, send me a copy of that. I'm going to create a video for you. I'm like, what? This is one of her gifts. And she already knew. She could see it. So abundance brought me people. Now she no longer creates these things because she's moved on to other things in her life. So now abundance brought me, universe brought me another person that heard this recording, the Ruby Heart recording, the Emerald Heart recording. And they're like, whoa, can I buy that from you? I want to use that in one of my retreats. I'm going to use that as I create one of my meditations. I'm like, what? You can do that? So now I have another name of somebody. She gave me somebody else's name. See how if we act, and I still have to learn this. So don't go into comparison mode, okay? I still have to learn this sometimes on a daily, sometimes on an hourly basis, ladies. Like, oh, I haven't acted. Oh, I didn't reach out to that guy yet. I had his name for over a month. Did not finally reached out to him. Okay? Just heard back from him yesterday. He's delighted to have a conversation. I never, 2 years ago, even a year ago, would have never thought about one of the ways of abundance visiting me, of hanging out with abundance, would be to sell one of my audio video tracks that I co-created with somebody else. Wow. And we have no idea where that's going to go. But I'm listening to the universe. I'm listening to my spirit. I'm listening to abundance. And I'm questioning, I'm asking, is this a new path that I've never thought of? Is this like, wow. And if all I have is the time to take action on that, with all these other ideas that are floating, that are here, that I've worked a little bit on, a little bit on, a little bit on, a little bit on. But okay, focus now on this recording that's already been created. And like, I got to figure all that out. I got to figure out, what do I need to do to legally protect me and my voice and my tones, but still share it? Sell it. Wow. Really? That's a new path. So Carol says, I like the inactivity part, truth. That's why we have coaches, ladies. We have mentors. I needed to hear that from my mentor. You get an inkling, you take action on it, Tammy. Oh, well, yeah, I know that. Like, I know that. Oh, man, I didn't do it. Didn't do it right away. Doesn't mean you can't go back and revisit it. Okay, now I'm taking action. Let's see if this is still the right and perfect thing. I'm getting more and more people sharing accolades with me of how these recordings are moving them, like Georgette right now. And what a sound it is, Tammy. So grateful for you sharing so much, because I shared this with Georgette. I sent her this. Like, now I have a testimony from her. So much opened up for her. I just saw that. When is the album coming out? I want it. So now I have a resource that we're going to have a conversation and we're going to talk about what's it going to take to create an album, both online to where there's videos. God, the videos are astonishing to see if that's a piece he can do along with the audio part. Yeah, people are asking me for an album. I thought about an album, and then I started having people asking me. So I had the thought, and then people started asking me. Wow. So be open to how abundance wants to visit you, wants to be with you, wants to flow with you, wants to play with you, wants to open you up to new possibilities of never knowing where it will lead you. It could start with a sound that leads you to something bigger. Pay attention. Be open. I want to ask you, so have you noticed anything that started out with an inkling? Christy, was it what, 3 years ago maybe that we were in Banff together? I think that was the time when I first met you. I think it was at least 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I would have never. 3 years later, I have 3 recordings, both audio and video. That was not a thought when I allowed myself, when I allowed that sound to come out of me. That was not even a thought. But it took me having the courage to turn to Caitlin, the facilitator, ask her if it was okay. She said yes. And then she gave, not even asking for feedback. She's like, wow, do you know what you just opened up in here? I had no clue. I don't know where this is going to go. This is where trust comes in. But I know it's already changing lives. Abundance is here for each and every one of us. So I encourage you to open up to abundance. Ask it to come and play with you. Ask it to show you where you're blocking it. And if you need any help, I'm here for you. Thank you for joining me today, for joining all of us, for joining abundance in this conversation. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this going inside of this Facebook group. Let's keep talking about it. More ideas. I can already feel some things are popping that maybe we can actually encourage each other and actually even like give an insight, like just being able to talk about this, just sharing about this. My favorite is asking for it to come unexpectedly. Oh, I love that. Okay, who loves that? Who loves that? Christy says, my favorite is asking for it to come unexpectedly. I haven't thought about that for a long time, Christy. Abundance. Yeah. Come to me unexpectedly. Thank you. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. See, right there. She popped me open to a new thought, a new statement, a new idea. See how we can encourage each other? Really, ladies, we can. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you, thank you, thank you from all of us for joining us. Oh, this is exciting. Can't you feel it? Yes.